Someone's threatening to out me on the internet, exposing the reason that I'm getting a divorce, so I'll go ahead and tell y'all myself because I'm not ashamed. Now, I don't owe any explanations, but because I brought my divorce to the internet, I might just explain what's going on. Here are the quick facts. My husband and I were married for 7+ years. For 6 of those years, he and I worked 2 different shifts. It was an interracial marriage. I lived in a place where not very many people looked like me. There weren't a lot of shared politics, and my family was 8+ hours away. Also, to add to this recipe for disaster, I was living in an RV for 4+ years with this man, and around year 4, it started really, the wear and tear was there. So like if you wanted to take a shower, you had to walk to a shower house. Hot water was sketchy, propane was sketchy. If you wanted to cook, you had to do like an induction stove top. At some point, it started to get to me, and I couldn't pull a trigger on the job that no longer served me. When I went remote, my husband and I talked, and we both thought it would be a great idea for me to go work remotely from where my family was, just so I could see them and reconnect. And he said things like, I'm excited for you. I was excited. He was excited. He was like, if I could, I would. And I felt very supported. I felt extremely supported. So I went. We don't have pets or kids or any extra responsibilities like that. So we didn't discuss a timeline on when I would return. Here's the shocking part that you're waiting on. I worked for my family's home for a total of 3 months. 3 months. Now in this time, I did talk to my husband every day. He did come to visit us frequently. I did go home frequently. In that 90 days, something snapped for him, and I want to tread lightly because he has requested that I do not talk about him on my social media, but I want to be able to speak to my experience. So I'll say this. When I left, I felt very supported, and we had this agreement that I would go work with my family, be with them, connect, heal, do whatever I needed to do to kind of get that switch back in my walk. And it went to me being accused of abandonment of marriage and leaving my marriage, specifically him, and that was the intention and the goal the entire time. In marriage counseling, which is something that we did the entire time that we were married, a therapist told us that only one person's hurt can be seen at a time. So when he was telling me that he wanted me to come home, and it wasn't coming out like, hey, I miss you, I want you to come home, I miss connection. It was coming out like, husband and wife are supposed to live together, you need to come home because it's the right thing to do. I said, this isn't verbatim, but ultimately I was like, you are demanding me home, and I'm going to be alone. I'm going to be by myself. No community, no connection. I have to sit in silence in the smallest RV that barely functions while you sleep, just because you think husband and wives are supposed to live together. And that wasn't a proper response either. I would never do that again. Don't do that. Just everybody. Ultimately, I started packing for home when he started to use the phrase abandonment, because we are believers and there are a few reasons that you can get divorced in the Bible. Abandonment is one of those, so I knew where it was heading. While I was packing to return, my mom ended up having a massive stroke. I just happened to be local at the time. I went to her home. I was the one who found her. So then I stepped into this caregiver role, and I was trying to be a caregiver in one state, go back and forth and be a wife in another. And on one of the trips to our state where we live, I was like, I got to go back to Tennessee where my mom is to answer these questions, do this paperwork. And he asked me, when are you coming back? And I said, well, I don't know. And that's not because I plan on staying there. It's because if you know anything about a caregiver, you are on the system's time. My absence was something he didn't want to go through again, so ultimately he decided to file for divorce. When I started posting about our divorce online, it was very much out of a place of hurt. So I want to be fair and tell some other sides of the story that I did not share at the time. I was laid off 2 days before he made the decision to divorce me, and since then he has been covering my portion of our shared bills, and we were a 50-50 marriage. He has attempted to remain a friend from day one, and I wasn't sure about that. I wasn't ready for that. There are times that I think I'm still not ready for that. He has also volunteered to help me get back on my feet as I announce I'm starting a new job. There you have it. So to the person, and it's not my ex-husband, who said they were going to come and lay it all bare, I beat you to it.